My name is Stephen Round, and I am a second grade teacher in the Providence School Department. I came to the meeting 2 nights ago, and I wished to read this letter of resignation to you, but I was not given the opportunity, so I'd like to read it to you now. It's addressed to the Human Resources Department, Providence Public Schools. To Paula Shannon, Susan Lucy, Carolina Creel, the Providence School Board, and the parents of my students. Below you will find, word for word, my personal philosophy of education, which was part of my application for a teaching position in the Providence Public School System in 1999. I believe that my goal as an educator should be the creation of lifelong learners. If I am going to meet that goal, I must provide children with an educational experience that is both rewarding and enjoyable. Therefore, it is important for students to understand how the knowledge received in the classroom will benefit them in the real world. It is my responsibility as a teacher to find various ways to make the process possible. To do this, I must be creative and open-minded enough to try new methods and approaches, but perceptive enough to embrace only those methods and approaches that prove to achieve that end. I was hired for a second grade position by Principal Nancy Owen at what was then the Charles N. Forts Magnet Academy, and it was a great fit for several years. Unfortunately, in the attempt to conform and abide by the misguided notions of educrats, the school system in which I had so much pride drastically changed. Rather than creating lifelong learners, our new goal is to create good test takers. Rather than being the recipients of a rewarding and enjoyable educational experience, our students are now relegated to experiencing a confining and demeaning education. Let's take a look at their typical day. Breakfast is no longer served in the cafeteria, where children used to have time to talk and socialize. Now it is piled on a table in the classroom and consumed during the first moments of class, supposedly while they are working. Lunch isn't much better. By that time, the children are so starved for social contact and a chance to talk that the cafeteria quickly becomes unbearably loud for students and supervising faculty alike. The alternative, the dreaded silent lunch, is often the only answer. So now there's recess, which lasts all of 20 minutes when the weather permits. This should be time for all students to run around and work off their pent-up energy. But unfortunately, since recess is the only enjoyable part of the day for these students, teachers have been forced to use it as a bargaining chip in the classroom. Students either do their work, behave, and keep quiet during class time, or they lose recess. And more often than not, the kids who need the recess time the most lose it because of poor behavior in the classroom. So then it's time to line up quietly, form a straight line, and proceed back to the classroom for another session of learning. It's no small wonder that we have such a high rate of behavior disorder within our classrooms. I personally had 2 children in my class of 26 who were and still are severe behavior problems, and at least 6 more who would be considered moderate BD. Actually, there were only 4 or 5 children in the entire class who could consistently hold it together day after day without getting into trouble. My hat goes off to them. And as for the classroom experience itself, any type of fun activity is gone. Classroom pets? Gone. Parties to celebrate birthdays and special holidays? Gone. Gone. How about field trips? Those adventures out into the real world to experience what it's like to live on a farm. Trips to the zoo, and even the experience of visiting a real museum. Gone, gone, gone. And finally, my determination to be creative and open-minded enough to try new approaches to teaching. Ha! The powers that be say that if it isn't in the accepted curriculum and done at the appropriate time, it can't be used. Why, I was even prohibited from tutoring my neediest students, my so-called dyslexic students, on my own time and after school. Not just once, but twice in 2 separate schools. And this was after my principal and the students' parents had approved of what I was doing. These parents were happy that their children were finally reading. The students were happy to know that they really weren't stupid. And I had the satisfaction of knowing that I was truly having a positive effect on children's lives. But Chief Academic Officer Shannon would rather see these 9 children fail than do something not specifically prescribed in this one-size-fits-all curriculum. When asked for a meeting, she literally would not give me, the students, or their parents the time of day. So, gone, gone, gone. I've had it. I quit. I would rather leave my secure $70,000 job with benefits and tutor in Connecticut for free than be part of a system that is diametrically opposed to everything I believe education should be. Thank you for listening.